Selamat pagi from Iskandar Puteri, Malaysia. We're going to share why we love living here.
Iskandar Puteri is located in the state of Johor, which is in the southern part of Malaysia, right next to Singapore.
We originally planned to stay here for 6 weeks, but we love it so much we kept extending it, and we've been here for 4 months.
Iskandar Puteri is a beautiful city located in Johor with a lot of modern amenities, but don't get it confused with Forest City because that place is a ghost town. You don't want to go there.
The first reason we love living here is it's family friendly. We especially love the neighborhood we're in, Puteri Harbor. There's nice wide sidewalks and lots of safe places to walk with the kids. I usually take my toddler out for a walk around the block a couple times per day, and when we do family evening walks, we like to walk down to Puteri Harbor, which is a popular place on the weekends. There's a fountain there, a sandy area for the kids to play, and a nice view of the harbor.
It's also just really relaxed here, just a slow-paced lifestyle. It's suburbia, basically. And there's lots of nature, too. We see monkeys all the time, and once we saw a monitor lizard crossing the road.
I love waking up in the morning and seeing Johor straight out the window. There's just something so calming about being by the water.
And I think because we're next to the water, the air quality is actually really good here. However, if you go into the city of Johor Bahru, the air quality index goes into the moderate range. It can be like that here sometimes too.
There are a few drawbacks though. Since it's such a calm place with wide open streets, people think that means it's a great place to race their cars. Especially on Saturday nights, you can hear those motorcycles revving their engines and racing when the kids are already in bed. I don't mind so much during the day when the parades of fancy cars go by. What did you say they were?
Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys. It's kind of unbelievable actually.
Another drawback with this is that I think the drivers don't expect there to be people around, so they tend to go right through the crosswalks even when they have a stoplight and they're supposed to be stopped and we're in the crosswalk crossing with our kids, the cars will still drive right through.
So that's the one thing you do need to be careful about.
And did not get hit by one of the rented scooters down by Puteri Harbor on the weekends. It gets crowded down there and the locals really like to have fun riding around on scooters. Here's what our kids love about living here. Legoland! We got the Triple Park annual passes for Legoland. You may have seen our complete guide to Legoland Malaysia. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it after this video. We structure our homeschooling so that we have a lot of free time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we like to take the kids to Legoland once or twice a week.
And what else do the kids like?
Swimming.
That's right. They love swimming class. Luckily, there is a Happy Fish swim center at Sunway Big Box. There's a few around Malaysia, and it is an awesome school for kids. Especially for our daughter, Haru. She was a little hesitant at first, but now she's getting the confidence and she can jump in the water all by herself. Her mom goes with her to swimming class, so it's a great experience and I think a really good bonding experience for you too as well. I get to watch Kaisho. He's kind of advanced compared to the rest of the kids in his class, so I feel like they should have put him in a more challenging class, but because we couldn't prove ahead of time his abilities, they weren't exactly sure where to put him.
Wherever we go next from here, we'll probably enroll our 1-year-old as well. If the timing had worked out, all 3 of our kids could have taken classes from Happy Fish.
However, because they're so popular, their classes are like full all the time, so you need to book in advance if you want to get a spot.
Next up, there are some great restaurants in our neighborhood.
Just right across the street, we have 2 restaurants, Nagi Japanese and RT Cafe. For Nagi, what's great about that is they have really good grilled food, and RT Cafe, they have really good burgers. Actually, the burgers in Malaysia, we just didn't know this, are quite good, and they put a lot of stuff on them.
They make them fancy with pastrami, all the toppings and sauce.
And also the burgers are just mixed with a lot of different spices, and it's just takes it to another level. And the price compared to the US, I say, is about 1/4 or 1/5 the price. So
don't forget the shakes.
Oh, and the shakes too. Yeah.
And the best part about going out to eat there with kids and a toddler is the commute home afterwards is just across the street. A little longer of a walk away over at Puteri Harbor, there's a few restaurants open there as well.
But why do we like to come here, Kaisho?
Spice Grill.
That's right, Spice Grill, one of the best restaurants in town.
Spice Grill is an Indian fusion restaurant, and we're kind of food snobs. We've eaten at Indian restaurants all over the world, especially in India, and this is one of the best, if not the best. It is that good. So there's no wonder why it's consistently on top 10 lists of best restaurants in Johor. We personally just like to order the Indian food.
There's some dishes that have no spice at all, so it's really good for our kids. I think it's kind of weird eating Indian food that's not spicy.
And what's also really great is we usually just order takeout, since if you have kids, you know what it's like eating out.
We can also order food through Panda and Grab, so pretty easy to have stuff delivered here.
And also over at the harbor is Mana Cafe, which is great for local food and live music.
We like to go there about once a week. It gets crowded at lunchtime though. Everybody goes on their work break and shows up at the same restaurant. Also just opened is Honeybee. It's kind of like a tea shop, so they have drinks and they also have super good ice cream with fruit on it that comes with an actual slice of honeycomb. It's pretty amazing. So that's one of our favorites as well. Grocery stores in our area. I'd say that one of my favorite things of living here is that we have 2 grocery stores just about a 5-minute walk away. So even if my toddler's getting a little sleepy for nap time, I can pop him in the carrier, walk over to the grocery store, buy the essentials, and walk home. I love that convenience of not even having to get in a car to go grocery shopping.
The first market is Pasar. It's right next to the Pine Tree Hotel. And what's great about that is they have a lot of gourmet food, a lot of international food, and a lot of organic veggies and fresh fruit. Just around the corner here, also within 5 minutes, is Fresh Mart, which is really good for essentials such as water and eggs, which we get almost daily.
So it's a little bit closer, so shorter walk home. There's also My News downstairs, which I call A News. I've been calling it since we got here, so I'm gonna stick with that. But that's a 7-Eleven type store, and we get our phones topped up there. What's our plan called?
We use U-Mobile, and our kids use Digi. Don't ask me why. But you can also get snacks and water there and you know, other essentials. Now, if you don't mind getting in a car, 5 minutes away is Ben's Independent Grocer, which is really great for international type foods and other imports.
And it's right next to Legoland.
Right next to Legoland in the Mall of Medina. Or about the same distance near Sunway Big Box is Jaya Grocer, which is our all-time favorite grocery store, I'd say.
They have a lot of gluten-free options if you're looking for that. Up next, healthcare.
About a 5-minute drive right next to Legoland is Glen Eagles Hospital. It's really nice and clean, but it is expensive.
Especially compared to the international hospitals in Thailand, we're spending a bit more here. We've taken our kids a few times for checkups and just minor issues. We got good care, but we're a little bit shocked at the price. We do have Safety Wing travel health insurance for big medical emergencies, but our plan doesn't cover things like just regular annual checkups.
Do you hear that? It's not even the weekend.
Schools. We personally homeschool or world school our kids, but there are plenty of schools really nearby.
For instance, there is Raffles American School, which is 5-minute drives, and also near Sunway Big Box is Sunway International School. And right across the street is Stellar International School.
And there's also a Montessori preschool just down the block. Shopping malls. There might not be as many extravagant, luxurious shopping malls as in Kuala Lumpur, but there's still plenty.
Actually, I think there's a couple of pretty good ones. There is Mid Valley Mall, which is pretty good.
Kind of a drive away though.
Yeah, that's like a 30-minute drive. And then there's Paradigm Mall. Heidi actually likes that mall a lot, I think, because there's a lot of local type shops in it and some pretty good food there too. But again, you're gonna have to drive at least 20 minutes for a decent mall, because nearby there is the Mall of Medina right next to Legoland where Ben's is located, but there is nothing there.
Almost everything is closed unless you like chicken, rice, and Burger King. Originally we thought about living right in that area to be right across the street from Legoland, but we're glad we didn't now that we see just how much of a ghost town Mall of Medina is.
Now also there is Sunway Big Box, an up-and-coming mall, but again I think this is because of COVID, it's mostly desolate. The only thing really there is the Happy Fish swim school, I would say, and
Book Excess, the gigantic bookstore that we did a video on before, so good for homeschooling supplies.
And there is Ace Hardware and also a big local grocery store too.
And Mr. DIY, so in between swim classes I can go and pick up some homeschooling essentials.
And they just reopened sportsdirect.com too. I guess there's a few things.
And a playground.
And a place to get drinks.
We get shakes there. And tea. Okay, there's some things. It's huge and spread out, so be prepared for a long walk.
And on the weekends, they have this free inflatable play area for the kids, but if they fall and crack your head open,
There's no liability waivers
no
here.
liability.
Restaurants in Johor. Sometimes we venture past our neighborhood. Like when we wanted to try some really good street food, we headed over to Meldrum Walk in JB.
Twice, actually.
Yeah, we had to go back for those fried oysters. And there was that time you took us to Lobster at Jade Garden Corner. That was delicious. Another good one is Burger Bandit near Sunway Big Box. That's one of our son's favorites. It might even rival the Ramley Burger.
And sometimes we're craving Japanese beef bowl. Gotta go to the mall for that.
Or yakitori and Boost Juice. The kids love eating at the malls. Transportation. Our neighborhood is very walkable, but since we're sort of out here in suburbia, you probably do need a vehicle to get to most places.
We've rented a car from a company called Wada, and we've rented it for 3 months now, and we highly recommend them. They got a great selection of cars that are in really good shape and really easy to communicate with them. You can actually pick up the phone and talk to somebody, so that's what we like a lot.
The roads here in Malaysia are so great that we're planning to do a road trip. When we leave, we'll go from Johor to Malacca to KL. So join us for our Malaysia road trip. Another option is to take Grab. However, after a while we got tired of doing that because sometimes it was hard to get a ride home. We tried to get a ride home from the grocery store or Legoland and we waited up to an hour to get a ride. There just aren't enough drivers right now. And I wouldn't recommend Sokar. You can watch the video about the mistakes he made when we rented a Sokar. We gave up on that one pretty fast. Another option is the bus. There's a beautiful bus stop in our neighborhood. We just never got around to trying that option since we have a car rental and the buses don't seem to come super frequently. I don't know if I've ever really seen the bus. And if you're one of those bicyclers, there are some mega fast bicyclers that zoom through our neighborhood like as fast as cars. So the roads are nice for bicycling too. Visiting neighboring countries. While Johor may not be the international hub that KL is, you still can visit a couple neighboring countries pretty easily.
For example, Singapore is just across the strait here, 600 meters. However, you still have to go through immigration both ways, so that can be a hassle. It's a lot easier for like a permanent resident or a local. Like our host, for instance, he goes there once a week. Now for us, it can be a little bit more complicated, so watch this episode up here if you want to know how we did it with private transport. And recently here at the Puteri Ferry, you can now go to Indonesia, 2 places.
Tanjung Balai Karimun and Batam Island.
Both are less than 2 hours away by ferry.
I wish it also went to Singapore, hopefully soon. Cost of rent. You asked, we'll answer. How much are we paying?
We are paying 3,750 ringgit per month. That is for a 1,200 square foot home with 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, washer, dryer, and all utilities included, including a parking lot.
It's a very spacious place, which is great since we're homeschooling and working from home.
If you were to rent this place for a year, the savings are even greater. Right now, you can rent the same size unit for about 2,300 ringgit per month, but you will have to pay your own utilities.
If you're curious to see inside our apartment, please subscribe because we'll be doing an apartment tour soon. There are also great amenities. There's an outdoor playground as well as indoor play area for kids, swimming pool, which is pretty much a necessity for our family. There are also things like a gym, an observation deck on the 27th floor, barbecues, yoga
Tennis
deck,
court.
all kinds of things. The security guards are also very friendly. They always say hi to us. They know who we are. We feel really safe living here. Even our garage welcomes us home. If you're considering moving abroad or traveling with your family, please subscribe for more tips.
And you might be interested in our video that compares KL versus Bangkok versus Saigon.
Now let's enjoy this beautiful view.